Hey, I want to do a little bit of a response video here to Alex Ansari. He's been talking about Bitcoin in his stuff. Alex Ansari, I'm going to put a link to his video in my description here. He doesn't have a whole lot of subscribers on YouTube. He's kind of fallen on hard times. But back about 7, 8 years ago here in Portland, Oregon, he was one of the people on public access TV, kind of had a high profile in certain circles. And so he had recently been talking about Bitcoin and whether or not this is something for the freedom movement. Bitcoin is one of many tools out there to get things done with money. And there was a chick who commented on there, and she had a comment on there that says that social currency would be the currency of the future. I want to answer that with a video. I did answer with a comment. Now I want to answer with a video. And I'm going to explain that social currency always has been the currency. That is currency. Okay, that is what we actually trade in when we trade currency. And that's not necessarily a indicator of wealth. Now here in the United States, if somebody has a pile of cash, that cash can be considered wealth. Okay, in much of the world, if you have a pile of cash, you have wealth. What we need to look at, though, is if you don't do anything with that, currency is a tool. And your wealth, if you really want to have and store wealth, cash isn't the means to do it. It's common sense not to store wealth as cash in much of the rest of the world. What I have here is cash as issued by the United States government, by the CIA, to operatives who had been working overseas. I think the newest one is the guy I got this from retired at some point in the 90s. And he told me a lot about how they did things, and we, kind of traded stories on a couple of things. He was selling this actually at a flea market. And there was a bunch of these other old guys out there, and I could start to kind of figure out from what they had on their tables a little bit about what their life history had included. And I said, hey, this stuff kind of looks like, government issue cash bundles. And they acknowledged it. Okay, obviously they didn't want to be on video. But we talked a bit. And they explained that, when they got to those countries, they're just simply given a briefcase full of the relevant currency for that country and a mission to get things done. And in comparison to myself being a regular trooper, okay, regular military trooper, if I'm sent on a regular military mission, I'm given resources to accomplish that mission, and I'm not expected to be all that imaginative. I'm not expected to be given a highly complex mission in regular military, but the government spent a certain amount of money on my weapons, my munitions, my body armor, all that kind of stuff, and they want, X, Y, Z accomplished, so they give me the stuff to do it. When you get up to the higher level with those other guys, their circumstances are they really can't be issued that, or that's not considered appropriate for their mission, so they're just issued bundles of cash and told to get things done. And that's totally separate from the paycheck. Okay, that's a totally separate deal. That's just tools left over to get things done. And if there's cash left over at the end of a mission, they may or may not even have to account for it. The U.S. Army adopted a lot of the exact same policies in Iraq during the Iraq War. Units were issued cash in order to get things done. And if you need to get things done with artillery shells and mortar rounds and ammo, you'll be issued that. If you get things done with cash, you're issued that. And they would pick people who had, the character and integrity to handle that cash with varying levels of responsibility. And it was handled with varying levels of responsibility, but usually pretty straightforward. I mean, because if you don't get things done, you're not going to be issued any more cash. If you skim a little bit, whatever. In these situations, the cash is social currency. Okay, that is, it's currency. It's social currency. It's not necessarily accumulated wealth. This money right here was actually printed for the express purpose of getting things done by government operatives, and they were issued bundles of this cash. They were sent to these countries. whatever it was they wanted to get done. Like, for example, the guy never really openly acknowledged it, but over in Myanmar, which used to be Burma, there's a historic U.S. interest over there. Currently, not a whole lot, but this is a bundle of Myanmar money. He was probably sent. He'd pay taxi cab bills, all that kind of stuff. They weren't really into keeping receipts, doing everything with a credit card. They just issue them cash to get it done. When we look at Bitcoin and alternative currencies, and a lot of people think, hey, we just invented an alternative currency. We've invented this. It's new. Let's do that. And when we look at the Ron Paul dollars and the stuff that's been issued by some of the people on Norfed, the silver coin based currency, I want to also show that there have been other currencies issued by private organizations to get things done. And one of the common ones used in several parts of the United States, especially in western states, has been poker chips. Okay, these are done by corporations that are in the gaming industry that wanted to have their own currency that they can have some control over how much of it they issue, how much is used. But the poker chips, when a casino goes out of business, what's that worth? There's no more social currency on that? Well, to a degree, there wouldn't be. But what happens is people trade these as collector items. For example, this $100 chip from the Dunes Casino, worth about 15-20 bucks as a collector's item. It's not worth $100 anymore. If somebody with the casino were open and they were willing to trade that for the $100, then it had value. And we look at that as maybe, is that value or is that not? If we look at a common business receipt, like this one here was from a motorcycle place here in Portland, Oregon, the guy gives me a receipt for some work that he promised to do on a motorcycle, which actually he didn't do. And so his social currency, if you were to look him up online, isn't worth a whole lot because people don't have a lot of good to say about the guy, or it's varied. In some circles they like him, in other circles they don't. And when we look at what we value here in the United States from the American perspective, a lot of people talk about gold and silver coins, but I've had a lot of difficulty getting anybody to actually want to use it as currency, because currency is something you use in day-to-day transactions. People will accept credit cards now, and like Alex Ansary talks about using Bitcoin because there's more people using it. Well, Bitcoin can be traced. I mean, it's a very NSA-friendly currency compared to this stuff. And if we want to talk about old conspiracy theories or values and Masonic conspiracy theories, and what some little secret meaning is on some bill, obviously this $2 bill, the least, and one of the things I use this is for a lot of illustrations is, this is the least used bill in the United States today. Now, you could go to the bank and ask for them, but the bill which commemorates the Declaration of Independence, the bill which actually commemorates the values of the Founding Fathers, is the least used bill in the United States today. Now, one of the things we want to look at is people can whip out cash and show you all sorts of crazy stuff that is somehow symbolized based on various ways you fold the bill. But what's printed in plain English, no big secret to it, this note, we're not getting a focus thing, right? This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. That's what you're not going to see on a lot of this other stuff, because the American money right now still carries social currency in the world, okay? And when we look at other people playing other games with other stuff, we got to look at, okay, can I use it on a day-by-day basis? Bitcoin is the one thing that's still kind of, to me, it's dangerous from a privacy standpoint because it can be traced. It's less traceable than bank ledgers, which are measured in dollars, but are not dollars. They are not this, okay? Whatever they are not this, okay? And different organizations issue those for different reasons. We talk about transmitting authorities and banks and any of that. Just like CIA operatives, I'm sure they do the same thing. You know, this guy retired in the 90s. They get issued a bundle of cash and said, "Here's what you got to get your job done." And what happens is when the social currency of that particular regime, whether it's a corporate regime or a government, when that changes or goes down or whatever happens, this stuff isn't really worth anything. And what they do is they change and they reissue from time to time. For example, the Polish communist government obviously was overthrown, and this money here became relatively worthless, right? That's why a guy can sell it for I think $5 a bundle at the flea market, and it's just not really it's not an issue. I've dealt with some people that wanted to go over to a copper standard, Ron Paul dollars, trading in collectible stuff, and then I think I broke the record on eBay for paying the most money for a 1 kilo copper ingot. When we look at people wanting to use gold and silver as currency, again, is it currency or is it an accumulated wealth mechanism? The people at the investment houses want to talk about selling this stuff as an accumulated wealth mechanism. Now, here in Portland, Oregon, there's another company here downtown. You can walk in, you buy them. You pay cash, you get these 1 ounce silver rounds. I actually trade these a little bit privately with people, let's say in lieu of cash. But what happens is, depending on how hip they are to the whole program, they may or may not want to pay the small premium that's associated with this. The other thing some people want to do is they want to play games is it real or not? I don't like your looks, therefore I think maybe your money's not authentic. And so I keep these in little things. And what has the value on this? The silver or the name of the company that sells it with the packaging that's their packaging? Really an interesting question, because right now with fake coins being minted in China, the packaging on these things, and this is just bullion grade, this isn't a numismatic, it's not a slab to numismatic, the packaging can be almost as important as the object itself, because a company like these silver sellers, where they check the stuff before they sell it, that has social currency. Okay, that has trust, that has social currency. Getting at what that lady commented on in Alex Ansari's posting. One of the interesting things I found laying in the street out there, if you saw money in the street, would you bend over and pick it up? Yeah, I would actually. Okay. This is actually a religious tract. It's a Bible tract. It was meant to get somebody's attention. It got my attention. Kind of interesting in that, where somebody maybe isn't fully understanding the needs of somebody who, sees money in the street, wants to bend over and pick it up and say, ha, ha, ha. But, we'll save your soul, but we won't give you $10. Kind of cute like that, right? But the thing is, it's interesting. I mean, it's a neat little collector's item. But I would say this, if, you're going to save souls but not save the country, not save the economy, I'm not going to call the guy a hypocrite. I'm sure they got good stuff going on, but there's a lot to be said on the groundwork of actually getting things accomplished that are going to make the world a better place, okay? And emotional voodoo isn't necessarily where I put my efforts, okay? One of the things to look at on the trustworthiness of stuff is a lot of people would talk about gold coins. And back in the 1990s, the Monex Exchange wanted to introduce to the market of bullion buyers and collectors, people that wanted to use this stuff, the Australian gold coins. And so if you were on certain mailing lists of people that did business with that stuff, you would get this. And my grandmother got this because she was buying bullion at the time. And she had bought, she was one of those people who, for her luck, would always buy high and sell low. Anyway, so she got on the mailing list, and they sent this for free. and I was really excited. I was getting a junk mail, and they were on enough of the right kinds of mailing list. Sometimes it was really cool free stuff in that junk mail. And I opened this up. I said, "Grandma, you got a free gold coin. You know, I want you to look at this old mail a little more carefully." And we all looked at it, we thought, wow, what nice people. You know, you do enough business with these people, they send you a gold coin for free. And I'm thinking, wow, well, let's take a look at these Australian nugget coins. And let's look at the other side. It was an advertising mechanism. You see that? It was a fake Australian gold coin. But it was an advertising mechanism. It's basically, if you want to buy more of these for real, call us at this phone number and we'll sell more of these for real. We'll sell you the Australian gold nuggets. That company, I think they're still in business. You can't find real Australian gold nugget coins as easily in the U.S. because these things scared the living shit out of people. They scared the fuck out of people when they said, "Holy crap, this is a real looking fake." And you know, if I call these people, they're going to give me the real one. But look how good these fakes are, and he scared the living shit out of people. And when I've seen these at pawn shops and coin dealers, a lot of people remember this thing. They actually go for a little bit of money now. It's not an ounce of gold. It's barely gold plated, maybe. And there's a lot of stories that go with these, but that's one of the things that's really scared a lot of people about gold and silver right now, is because the more it's worth, the more incentive there is to fake it. But one of the things you can't fake is social currency to a degree. I mean, you can kind of fake it. People in Hollywood trade in that, but whether you got fake or real social currency is really kind of up in the air, isn't it? And I would bring that up when like people like Mark Dice are talking about the Illuminati. Obviously, he's done a lot of research. He knows a bit of what he's talking about. When you've got people at the music awards representing the United States with a bunch of that crazy bullshit stuff, I think it's cause to worry. You know, it's bad publicity for everybody involved. It's bad publicity for the country. It's bad publicity for what a lot of good people are trying to accomplish, and a lot of other things. And I would mention that from the standpoint that toward the end of this video, I would show a little something. There's a little souvenir from a hotel in Bavaria that would only get from that hotel gift shop. Okay. Anyway, we'll talk more about this kind of stuff later.